Okay, so get this. China's new sixth-generation fighter jet just had its first successful flight.
Yeah.
We're diving deep today into an article from Army Recognition that breaks down all the details. And it's pretty wild to think this news first came out on social media.
It certainly grabs your attention, doesn't it? I mean, unveiling a cutting-edge fighter jet through social media videos is a definite power move. It signals that China's confident and ready to showcase it to the world.
Yeah, it definitely makes you sit up and take notice. So what exactly is a sixth-generation fighter jet? What makes it different from the jets we see today?
That's a great question. The term sixth generation refers to a new class of fighter jets that are currently under development by several countries, including the US and China. These jets represent a significant leap forward in capability, incorporating cutting-edge technologies like advanced stealth, hypersonic flight, and as you mentioned, a heavy emphasis on artificial intelligence.
Okay, so we're talking about jets that are practically invisible to radar, can fly at mind-blowing speeds and have some serious AI brains on board. What kind of impact could this have on air combat?
It's truly a potential revolution in warfare. Imagine a fighter jet that can not only evade enemy detection, but also analyze the battle space in real time, making lightning-fast decisions that even the most skilled pilot would struggle to match. That's the kind of edge AI could bring to the table.
And this AI isn't just about helping pilots react faster, right? I was reading that China is particularly focused on developing AI for something called manned-unmanned teaming.
You're exactly right. China is investing heavily in the ability for their sixth-gen fighter to seamlessly command and control swarms of unmanned aerial vehicles or UAVs, often referred to as drones. These drones could be used for a variety of tasks, from scouting enemy positions to conducting electronic warfare or even launching attacks.
So picture this, a single pilot in a sixth-gen fighter acting as the quarterback for an entire fleet of drones. That's a game changer in terms of tactical flexibility and firepower.
Absolutely. It essentially multiplies the force projection capabilities of a single aircraft. And with AI managing many of the drone's functions, the pilot can focus on the bigger strategic picture. It's a potent combination that could redefine air superiority.
But it's not just the AI and the drones that are getting people talking. There's also a lot of buzz about these new jets being potential platforms for hypersonic weapons. What exactly are those, and why are they such a big deal?
Hypersonic weapons are essentially missiles that can travel at incredibly high speeds, exceeding Mach 5 or 5 times the speed of sound. This makes them incredibly difficult to intercept with current defense systems. Some even have maneuverable capabilities, making them even harder to track and defend against.
So we're talking about missiles that are not only incredibly fast, but also incredibly agile. That sounds like a nightmare scenario for anyone on the receiving end.
It certainly poses a significant challenge for traditional air defense strategies. These weapons could potentially strike targets almost anywhere in the world with very little warning time.
That's a pretty intimidating prospect. I'm guessing this has got other countries like the U.S. paying close attention.
Absolutely. The U.S. is also developing their own sixth-generation fighter program known as NGAD, which stands for Next Generation Air Dominance. They are acutely aware of China's progress and are investing heavily to maintain their technological edge.
It sounds like we're entering a whole new era of aerial warfare, with these sixth-gen jets as the leading edge. It's both fascinating and a little bit unsettling, isn't it?
It certainly is. It raises a lot of questions about the future of air combat and the potential for these technologies to reshape the global balance of power. But before we dive into those broader implications, let's take a closer look at how China's sixth-gen fighter stacks up against the competition, particularly the U.S.'s NGAD program.
That's a great idea. Let's break down what we know about each program and see how they compare in terms of their capabilities and strategic goals.
So you're probably wondering how the U.S. is responding to this new player in the sixth-generation fighter jet game.
Absolutely. We were just talking about how the U.S. has their own program, the NGAD, is that right?
That's right. NGAD stands for Next Generation Air Dominance. It's shrouded in secrecy, but based on what we know, it seems the U.S. is taking a slightly different approach than China. They're focusing heavily on range and payload.
Makes sense. The U.S. has military commitments all over the world. They need a jet that can travel long distances and pack a serious punch.
Exactly. To achieve that, they're likely focusing on advanced engine technology. There are even rumors of hypersonic propulsion being in development, which would give the NGAD incredible speed and range.
Wow, a jet capable of crossing continents in just a few hours. That would be a game changer for responding to global events.
Indeed. Another key area where the U.S. seems to be putting a lot of emphasis is networking. The NGAD is being designed as the centerpiece of a vast network of sensors and weapons. This would include satellites, drones, and even other fighter jets.
So instead of just one super advanced jet, they're creating a whole interconnected system that can share information and coordinate attacks. That's pretty impressive.
It is. The idea is to achieve something called information dominance. In essence, the NGAD would have a complete real-time picture of the battle space, allowing it to outmaneuver and overwhelm its opponents. Think of it as a hive mind for aerial warfare.
Now that you explained the U.S. approach, how does China's 6th-gen fighter compare? They seem to be going all in on artificial intelligence. Could that be their advantage?
It's definitely a core part of their strategy. China sees AI as a way to potentially offset the technological advantages the U.S. currently holds in areas like sensor and weapon systems. Their bet is that AI will enable faster information processing and decision-making, giving them an edge in a potential conflict.
It's a classic David versus Goliath situation. China is leveraging its strength in AI to try to level the playing field with the U.S. military's might. Do you think it could work?
It's a fascinating question. Think about the potential impact of AI in a dogfight. An AI-powered jet could react to threats in milliseconds, potentially outmaneuvering even the most skilled human pilot.
It's almost like having a supercomputer in the cockpit constantly analyzing and making split-second decisions.
Precisely. And AI's applications go far beyond just dogfighting. We could see AI being used to optimize flight paths, manage fuel consumption, even diagnose and repair technical problems during flight.
So it's not just about combat capabilities, but also efficiency and even in-flight maintenance.
That's right. And let's not forget the role of AI in managing those drone storms we discussed earlier. China's 6th-gen fighter is designed to command and control multiple UAVs, and AI will be crucial for coordinating their movements and attacks.
So to recap, the U.S. seems to be prioritizing range, payload, and networking, while China's pushing the boundaries of AI and drone integration. It's a clash of technological titans, wouldn't you say?
It's an intriguing matchup, for sure. But one crucial question emerges: which approach will ultimately prove more effective on the future battlefield?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I guess it's impossible to say for sure, but it's clear that the future of air combat is going to be unlike anything we've seen before.
Absolutely. We're talking about jets that are essentially flying supercomputers, capable of things that were once the realm of science fiction. But there's one more piece of the puzzle we haven't even touched on yet: hypersonic weapons.
Right. We talked about them briefly before. Both China and the U.S. are heavily invested in this technology, and I imagine it could have a major impact on how wars are fought.
Imagine missiles traveling at 5, 6, even 10 times the speed of sound. They could strike targets anywhere in the world with virtually no warning. It's a game-changing capability.
A game changer with potentially terrifying consequences, I'd say. What are the defensive options against something moving that fast?
That's the challenge. Not only is the speed a factor, but hypersonic weapons are incredibly maneuverable, making them incredibly difficult to intercept with existing defense systems.
It almost sounds like they defy the laws of physics. So with both countries pushing the development of hypersonic weapons, does this mean we're on the verge of a new era of hypersonic warfare?
It's a very real possibility. As this technology matures and becomes more widespread, we could see a shift away from traditional dogfights towards a faster, longer-range style of combat.
And I imagine the implications extend far beyond the battlefield. This kind of technology has the potential to reshape global power dynamics in a big way.
Absolutely. The stakes are incredibly high, and this is just the beginning. As China, the US, and other countries pour billions into these advanced systems, the future landscape of warfare is going to be dramatically different.
It's mind-boggling to think about the implications of all these advanced weapon systems. We've covered 6th-generation fighter jets, AI integration, hypersonic capabilities. It's a lot to wrap your head around.
It really is a paradigm shift in military technology. And as with any major technological advancement, there are a lot of important questions that come along with it.
Especially when we're talking about technologies with such destructive potential. What are some of those key questions?
One of the biggest concerns is the increasing reliance on artificial intelligence in warfare. We're essentially talking about machines making life or death decisions on the battlefield.
Yeah, that's a pretty heavy thought. What happens if an AI system malfunctions or misinterprets data? Could it lead to unintended casualties or even an escalation of conflict?
Those are valid concerns, and they raise questions about accountability. Who is ultimately responsible when an AI-controlled system makes a mistake? the pilot, the programmer, the government that deployed it. These are complex legal and ethical issues that we're only just beginning to grapple with.
It definitely feels like we're entering uncharted territory. And then there's the concept of fully autonomous weapons, systems that can operate completely independently without any human intervention. Is that something that's on the horizon?
It's a possibility that we need to consider carefully. The idea of machines waging war without any human oversight is a chilling prospect for many. It challenges our fundamental understanding of warfare and the role of human judgment in armed conflict.
It's a topic that sparks a lot of debate. Some argue that autonomous weapons could actually make warfare more humane by reducing the risk of human error and emotion-driven decisions. But others worry that it could dehumanize warfare even further, making it easier to start conflicts and leading to an increase in violence.
It's a crucial debate, and one that society needs to be actively engaged in. The decisions we make today about the development and deployment of AI in warfare will have far-reaching consequences for generations to come.
It's clear that this isn't just about military strategy anymore. We're talking about fundamental ethical questions about the future of warfare and the role of technology in our lives.
You've hit the nail on the head. We need to be thinking critically about the potential consequences of these advancements and working to ensure that they are used responsibly and ethically. International cooperation and dialogue are essential for navigating this complex landscape.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today, from the technical details of China's new sixth-generation fighter jet to the broader implications of AI and hypersonic weapons. It's clear that we're entering a new era of military technology, one that's full of potential benefits, but also significant risks.
It's an era that demands careful consideration and responsible leadership. The future of warfare, and indeed the future of humanity, may very well depend on it.
So for everyone listening, this is definitely something to keep an eye on. The world is changing rapidly, and staying informed is more important than ever.
We've only scratched the surface of this topic today, but hopefully this deep dive has given you a better understanding of the forces that are shaping the future of warfare and the challenges we face as a global community.
And that's what we're all about here on The Deep Dive, exploring complex topics, uncovering hidden connections, and empowering you with the knowledge to navigate an ever-changing world.
Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.
Until next time.